you chat?
Always. Aloha.
Ooh.
Does that feel better than howdy?
I like both.
Yeah.
Shalom.
Shalom.
We haven't ventured into yet. Aloha made me think of I read that book for you.
Did you love it?
Yes. What was it called?
That is a great question. And I've been calling it my favorite book, so that's even more upsetting.
The best book you've ever read, actually.
Yeah.
From Here to the Great Unknown.
Yes. From Here to the Great Unknown.
Horrible title. I don't know what that has to do with the book. The book we're talking about is Lisa Marie Presley's memoir that she had started and then died before finishing.
Correct.
And so Riley Keough, her daughter, finished it for her.
I love Riley. Like, did that make you love her?
She seems like a
really solid
good
person.
egg.
Yeah. So much suffering.
It's a depressing story. It's a quick read though. And I think the main takeaway is that when you ask me to do something, I do it.
I don't know how this went to that, but thank you. I wanted you to read it for you, and I'm happy you did. But if you didn't, I wouldn't take it as a personal affront.
I want you to read or watch things also for you. Like, I don't recommend things I think you'll hate.
Okay. I'm going to watch Tell Me Lies. I'd like to start this evening. That's my plan. I've been incredibly busy.
I don't even care if you watch Tell Me Lies. I just wanted someone to talk about Tell Me Lies with.
Well, I was never going to catch up.
You could have if you started when I told you the second season was coming out, but you didn't. And there's so many things. I mean, the list of things I've asked you to watch or
I will
read.
say I recommend something to you once every other month. And you're chock full of referrals, which is beautiful and wonderful. But
I've actually stopped recommending things to you because you don't listen.
It's not listening. A recommendation is a suggestion. It's not a mandate.
But it's like, I think you will love this. And it's like a, 3-part docuseries. And you're like, I could have watched that, but instead I watched SVU, which I've seen 17 times. Like,
okay, well, I've started the new seasons, so I ventured into what's going on in 2024 with Detective Benson, actually now Captain. I'm sorry. I'll try to be better. I just sometimes get overwhelmed. Sometimes I like something that's just like a comfort show.
yes, sometimes.
A lot of times. Like, the busier I am, I don't want to take in more content.
But it's like you have an evening available and you're like, ooh, I could watch or read that thing that Rachel recommended, or I could not and just do nothing.
The nothing sounds beautiful. Mm-hmm. And sometimes I just need nothing.
Isn't it nice, though, when you tell someone that they might like something and then they actually do read it and then you can talk about it?
It is nice. Mm-hmm. I think we're forgetting all the times I have watched or read something you've
When's the
recommended.
last time?
Oh my God, I know there's ones. I have to think about it.
Scenes from a Marriage is the last thing I recommended to you, and you didn't finish it. You watched the first episode.
Okay, well, that made me want to bawl my eyes out. I couldn't get through it. I was crying at every episode.
What?
It was so depressing.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't that sad.
I'd love for anyone who's watched Scenes from a Marriage to really chime in here.
Okay, please do.
It was so upsetting. I read, what did I read? I don't know.
Come on, Irene.
I don't
what
know.
What did I read?
I tap out. I apologize. Here.
Nothing.
Nothing is not true.
And I also just want to say that some of your favorite films, shows, and books have been things that I have forced you to read. Beautiful Boy.
Ergo, I have listened to your recommendations. I stand in the eye of the court correct.
Okay.
How could they be my favorite if I didn't listen to your recommendation?
When did you read Beautiful Boy? I think it was 2015.
Anyways, how was your weekend?
Exactly. My weekend was good. What did we had our supper club.
Mm-hmm. We did do that.
Fun in the sun.
Fun.
I have to say, I ordered an extra dirty martini, which is
Disgusto.
a common order for me. And when The bar is stingy on the olives. It just like, I feel like it sets the tone for your whole night. But they brought the drink out and it had 4 huge olives in it. And I was like, well, we are off to the races.
I was unsure because as someone who hates olives, I don't know if 4 is a lot or a little. So I was on a roller coaster. I wasn't sure if they
4 is a lot.
Oh, great.
Sometimes you get like the little stick in the martini.
Yeah.
Standard is 2. I've gotten 1 before and it's like, is this place about to close?
Are you guys okay?
1 olive. And when you ask for extra, sometimes they give you 3. This place came out 4 olives on the stick. No, I didn't even ask for extra.
I love it.
I was like, okay.
We love this restaurant.
We do love the restaurant.
So that was great. You did venture into a new order, though, which was bold.
Why I got the fish?
Yeah. Like, did you really want fish? I kept feeling bad for you. Like, oh, she's made a mistake.
No, I didn't. I didn't feel regretful.
Oh, you were happy.
Yeah, because I knew it was going to happen to me because when we were out to dinner on Tuesday last week, I ordered a burger. And I thought to myself, I shouldn't do this because I know I want to get the burger on Friday. But a burger sounded good on Tuesday. So I was like, you know what? Fuck it. Live a little.
You know what? I'm a crazy girl. I do crazy things.
Get the burger. So I ordered a burger Tuesday. And then come Friday, I did not feel like a burger.
Wow.
As I knew I wouldn't.
Sorry that happened to you. The burger
That
was
doesn't
delicious.
happen to you.
No,
You can eat
the same thing.
And I truly can't.
I ate Greek, and I'm about to get back into it, Greek yogurt, Special K blueberry, and blueberries for breakfast every day for 3 years. Like, every day. And then I did eventually burn out about a year ago. I've just reignited the passion.
Sure. For like things like that, like a snack, like I can have like a yogurt the same every day, maybe. But like if I had pizza on Tuesday night for dinner, I can't have pizza Wednesday.
Has no bearing on Wednesday. What happens Tuesday is none of Wednesday's business.
Oh, I don't feel that way. Like unless it's like pasta, which is my favorite food.
Unless it's like pasta.
I could have pasta any day.
Wait, should we talk about the crisis going on in this country?
Yeah.
That the Dunkalattes are gone.
I don't even want to talk about it because I don't want other people
to know. They know it's happened.
But our listeners.
Guys, something terrible is going on and it's our job to tell you.
I would prefer to gatekeep the Dunkalatte.
You always do.
But go ahead.
So let me tell you. About 3 weeks ago, Rachel said to me, have you had the Dunkalatte from Dunkin'? And
it was like 2 months ago.
Okay, sure.
Another recommendation that
God.
took so long for you to take.
Okay. Whenever at an undisclosed time, Rachel said, hey, have you had a Dunkalatte? I said, I think I have. Spoiler alert, I was wrong. I hadn't had one. She was like, they're amazing. You should really get one. I'm like, no. I don't like it. Go ahead.
I have to pause. I said, have you had the Dunkalatte? It's so good. And you said, I got it and I didn't like it at all. I said, that's really crazy. I'm so sure you would like it. Maybe you just got a bad one or something, but I've gotten them at a bunch of different Dunkins and it's really good. So get the iced Dunkalatte.
In hindsight, I'm wondering if it was a place that just didn't have the coffee milk and like didn't say it, you know?
Well, they're telling us all about it now. So
I slept on this. And then about 3 weeks ago, we were going to get our nails done. And Rachel was like, do you want to get Dunkalattes? And I was like, yeah, sure. What the hell? Just like you, I'm a crazy girl. I do crazy things.
Risk takers.
She gets me this drink. I have never drank something so delicious in my life. I don't want to know how many calories are in it.
It's actually not crazy.
I don't want to know any of it because I don't care. Because I love it so much. I spend about a week getting about 4 Dunkalattes. Only to find out at the end of that week, it's now been 2 weeks since I've been able to get my grubby little hands on a Dunkalatte. Everywhere I go, they tell me that they're, quote, out of the coffee milk. I push back. I say, you're a Dunkin'. Don't you have milk and espresso? No answers. They say they've ordered it from corporate. It hasn't been able to be delivered. Allegedly, it is coming back and Dunkin' isn't going to discontinue it. But in a time with such political uncertainty, I think it would be the right thing if Dunkin' Donuts would just give us our goddamn Dunkalattes back.
Do you want to know how many calories?
Sure. I'll never have one again, so it doesn't matter.
We usually get the medium.
Yeah.
No customizations, right?
Correct.
300.
Well, we're never having one again.
That's not even that many.
No, but like, where the fuck is it?
for like a really delicious drink. I mean, like, frappuccinos are like 1,000 calories.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's so good. And they keep saying at the stores that it's been discontinued. I tried to get one yesterday.
I went this morning. And the problem has affected Tyler now. So he said, why don't you give me one of those Dunkalattes? I said, oh, sweetie.
They're gone.
They're gone. Your time has come and your time is gone. It's over.
It could have been here if someone would have listened to me when I first recommended it, but
a classic case.
Yeah, they're so good, and actually it's fine to talk about now because no one will ever be able to have one again.
Yeah, we can't gatekeep something that doesn't exist.
Online though, Duncan has commented and said
Duncan has officially made a comment.
They have, and they said we plan to bring them back. I sent you a screenshot.
I know, but I can't believe them because we're not talking about like unicorn blood. Like it's coffee milk.
I know, but I watched her make it, and it's something in there. It's not like milk from like a milk jug and like
no, they
espresso.
pre-batch the like coffee milk.
Yes,
that's what she told me. But like make more.
That is the problem. It's whatever's in the coffee milk.
Make more.
It's so smooth. It kind of tastes like a melted frappuccino if a frappuccino weren't watered down by like the ice that melts. It's just like it's that smooth.
It's delicious. It's fucking delicious.
And it's gone.
Yeah.
There's a shortage, apparently, of coffee milk.
Something else terrible happened to me this morning.
What?
After working 2 weddings this weekend, I went and got an impromptu massage. 8:30 a.m.
Oh.
This woman wanted to talk to me. I'm so sorry. I think I might have been rude to her. I couldn't give up this hour of peace. I turned off my phone. That's how serious I was about the relaxation. She kept asking me questions about my life, not about the pressure.
Why do you have to be rude? Why don't you just say, do you mind if we just like don't talk?
That feels more rude. I wasn't rude. I guess like I should be direct. I wasn't rude. I just like was not expanding on any of my answers. And I think eventually she got the hint, but it took like 7 questions. I was like, please, don't you want to be quiet? It's so early.
I know. I'm horrible at that too. I usually end up having to talk for my entire
it's awkward.
massage. Because I say, but then I'm interested, so I'll start asking questions. Like,
I couldn't let myself go there.
But I think in your particular scenario here, you probably could have just been like,
shh.
Yeah. Please no more.
What you're doing, don't.
An 8:30 a.m. massage, huh? You were like, I have got to get a massage.
I called at like 8:11. And they said they had an 8:30. And I said, say no more.
Your self-care knows no bounds.
The problem, okay, well, that's actually not true. That's why I needed it. I haven't had a massage in I don't know how long.
Like a couple months.
No.
Okay.
Longer.
People don't, like, a massage is a luxury. It's not like something that you get regularly.
Okay, in the world for sure, but there are people who have massage memberships. I was one of them and used to reap the benefits as well. They actually tried to sell me on it again, but I stayed firm, which usually I fold the minute they bring out a membership.
You don't need a membership.
I know. I was
like,
I
don't need a massage a month.
I don't need a membership. But it's like, I don't really like going to the chiropractor, so it's just like my version of chiropractic.
That's a lot more money.
No, because I go once every 3 months.
Chiropractor's free.
Depending on your insurance plan. The chiropractor is a luxury.
No, it's not. That's a doctor.
If you have an HMO. It's not. I don't.
You don't.
But I'm just saying hypothetically.
You're like, you know what? I had a tough weekend. I'm getting a massage. Monday morning, 8 a.m.
I deserve it.
Like, there are literally people who work like physical jobs day in, day out.
Okay, I just have to say, I'm obviously not like in the coal mines, but
because I just pictured that and it would be.
But I was
something.
on my feet for 22 hours.
No, I didn't say you weren't hardworking, but it's like the tail end of that. You're like, massage, please.
I used to find you when you would work events for me, sitting on the floor asking for your staff meal, like, please, sir.
At 10 o'clock at night because we didn't have dinner. There was nothing to eat. You ask people to be at these events at like 11 o'clock in the morning. And then when 11 p.m. rolls around, people
want
are sitting
food.
on the floor asking for their meals. That is what happens.
Neither here nor there.
How was the rest of your weekend?
I literally worked the whole weekend. I did go to my sister-in-law's bridal shower.
Work.
Yes, on Saturday morning, which was lovely. It was at a really cute tea room, which never been to a tea room, but it was like a very Alice in Wonderland kind of vibe, like mismatched teacups.
Oh.
Very my vibe. Her
So
mom,
cute.
so cute. Her mom made a cute sign. She looked beautiful. They barely opened gifts, which is my favorite thing.
Love it. We
Like,
don't need to see gifts.
She started opening gifts at like 1:35 and she was done by 2. Boom, boom, boom.
Boom, boom.
The cutest thing was the dessert was cupcakes in teacups. So you like ate them with a fork and a spoon.
Oh.
It was like, you know, jarred cake.
Like
but
a lava cake?
Yes, exactly. So cute. Somehow I got it all over my arm. Was very unsure about that. The only thing that was hard is they had open seating. Like they didn't have assigned seating. So, I mean, it wasn't hard for me. I loved it. But like other people, I could see them trying to like figure out like, oh, we're 4. We have a 5 top because it was like restaurant style seating.
If by other you mean older.
Older. I do. I mean older.
I feel like young people walk into something like that and they're like, oh, sit wherever.
Yeah,
Cool.
cool.
And older people are like, is someone going to tell me where to sit? It's like, is someone going to tell you to shut the fuck up? Find a chair.
Yeah, I mean, it was perfect for me. My mother-in-law, my sister-in-law, and I sat at a 4 top, but it was just the 3 of us, and we were like, they put us next to Abby, so we were like all kind of in this little pod, which was really nice. I do want to say, I know for a fact that I got her dress really close on this little drawing game, and I did not win, so I think it was rigged.
Really?
But I forgive her.
What was the game?
We had to draw her wedding dress.
What you thought it would look like?
What we think it will look like.
What the fuck if you're not a good drawer?
It was pretty easy. It was just like it had the sketch of a dress.
Oh.
And you were just like filling it in with a white color pencil.
Oh, you just design
So
on it.
I think someone stuffed the box, but
Could be.
it was fun. It was nice. I was so glad I could go because I had 2 weddings, but I was able to go to the other one later in the day and be there for the party. That was really it. And it was 2 hours. Boom, boom. Also love that. I think showers have the potential to be too long. And she was even saying, she was like, when we booked this place, they said, do you want a 2 or 3 hour private event? And they said 2 because it's like open to the public. They like close it down. And she was like, so glad we did 2 hours. I was like, yes.
In and out.
In and out. It's a Saturday. People have like sports to get their kids to. Like, it was a perfect, guess what time it started? You would have loved it.
Ooh, noon?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not too early, not too late.
Love that. I think what's hard though is that like, again, it's the clientele. Like there are lingerers.
Yeah.
And it gets awkward at the end when like people are lingering and you have to like kick them out of the space.
Well, the good thing was I think the restaurant did the job because they were opening. Like they had a sign on the window that said like close for private event. But like once their window was done, they wanted to let patrons in.
Yeah. Like at my sister-in-law's, we had, I don't even remember how long, but when it was supposed to end, then people were still like,
I know. Why don't those people want to leave?
standing around chatting, and it was like, that's very nice, but like the place was like cleaning up around them, like tablecloths are being like ripped off of tables. Like it
Can
was
you
like,
move your shit?
yeah.
That ain't me. I've never been a lingerer.
No,
I'm a leaver.
I don't linger either.
No,
Not me.
not literally. You were at dinner at my house the other day. Abruptly, you go, "Should we go?" I was like, "You're like, I'm done. I'm ready to go."
There was nothing
Left for you.
There was nothing left for me at that dinner.
I was like, "Oh my god, okay, bye."
I just feel like if the conversation doesn't
Keep you
keep
engaged.
me invested, and it was a conversation that I wanted no part of,
Yeah.
to be honest.
You were like, "Bye." Your parents were like, "Oh, bye."
No, my parents weren't like that. My dad was like, thank God someone said so.
But your mom was like, "What's going on?"
Maybe she's a lingerer. So there you go.
Would you like to hear an icebreaker?
Ooh, yes, I would.
Before I go into that, I always do a little search for icebreakers, and I found one, and it made me think that anyone who answers a certain way is an alien. The question was, would you rather stand up for a full day or sit down for a full day?
Huh?
Who the
Sit.
fuck is saying stand up?
Yeah, I'd love to stand all day.
I was like, oh, so there's people out there who are actually nuts. But okay, I digress. Here's my icebreaker. Would you rather be extremely lucky, so things always work out in your favor, you always get the job, you always get the raise, you always get the house, whatever, but you're an idiot? So everyone's always like, it's crazy how shit comes together. Or like, you know her, she's so lucky. Or be really smart, intelligent, and talented and successful a lot of the time, but like rolling the odds. Like you don't, some wins, some losses, but people all think that you're extremely intelligent and capable.
So like really lucky, and are you equally as happy?
Yeah, happiness has no bearing. It's more about like you just kind of fall into these things without like a sense of accomplishment or like work.
But you can feel accomplished if you're also dumb. You're just like, oh, and it happened again.
That's what I'm asking. Like, are you okay with good fortune that has no real effort behind it? Or would you rather be like, I really worked for this? And like people also recognize that. Like, wow.
Well, I'm just thinking of specific scenarios like coming off this weekend where I lost both my no sweat bets.
Oh, I'm sorry that happened to you.
I would love to be lucky.
I have not won a bet and I couldn't tell you how long.
So
Lose. Well, you're lucky because you have me.
okay, so option one. I think I'd rather be, it's like, it's not the same, but it's like how we always talk about like being like aware of what's going on around you versus just being like totally unaware, like sort of bumbling through.
Yeah.
Like there are people who are just like,
self-awareness is key.
not even self-awareness, but like just like there are people who can pick up on like nuances in the room and like changes in people's
vibes,
demeanor,
energy.
Yeah, vibe catchers.
Yes, I'm a vibe catcher. Ooh,
Same.
Yeah.
And there are people who are like, they don't even it doesn't even register to them. Like if the vibe changes or not, they're just like, and I'm at a dinner.
Yeah, totally.
And
Must
we
be
always
nice,
talk,
honestly.
yeah, we always say like, wouldn't it be so much nicer to not be? Because you're like, I'm so empathetic. Like it seemed like so and so was upset, so then I was upset, and it's just exhausting.
It's draining.
Yeah, it's exhausting being this intuitive.
Yeah, it does drain me.
And I am not nearly as intuitive as you are, but I do, or maybe I'm just not as affected as.
Yeah, I don't know if you're not as intuitive. I'm like, not to sound like a loser, I really am an empath. Like, I know that sounds like so fucking losery, but like, I don't know how else to describe the effect of other people's moods on me. Other than just saying I'm a lunatic.
But a lot of times you'll be like, what's wrong? Are you upset? No.
But 99% of the time, yes, 99.
And then you refuse to just admit that like maybe your vibe was off.
I mean, neither here nor there.
Oh, that's neither here nor there.
So what would you say?
I think I'd still rather be like aware.
Me too.
Smart.
I think getting things with no hard work.
Only because being lucky doesn't really feel.
It doesn't feel good. Exactly. That's what I was gonna say. Like getting things without hard work feels kind of empty. Like I know it sounds lame, but it's so much more meaningful when you do something and people are like, great job. You worked so hard and that was great. And it's like, thank you. As opposed to just like, how the fuck did they afford that house? Like you never want to be the, how did they afford that house people?
Well, I mean, your husband disagrees.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I would really agree. I think I would probably prefer the first option myself, actually.
You want to just be lucky?
Yeah, because if I'm like dumb, like I don't know that it's luck. You know, the world is blessing me with kindness. I love it.
And you're just like,
God, I am a good person.
what a wonderful world.
Exactly.
Well, I think we've transitioned this person into like a fucking idiot. Like I don't think they're like unable to understand. Like I think they know they're like kind of lucky. I don't know. I'm like a glutton for punishment. Like I like when I earn something so much more.
I mean, yeah, it does make it, but like, do I wish someone had like bought me my car in cash so I had no car payment? Or like every day that I drive my car, am I like, I love this car and I work for this car and I make money so that I can pay for a car that I love to. No, I would love to have a free car.
Okay. I'm not saying the other person has no luck.
Oh.
Like some luck would be nice. Like shit, yeah, I'd love if
But I'm just saying like the car isn't more special to me because like I work for it and I earn the car.
No, but I think it's all indicative of like a bigger picture. Like, you don't necessarily think about the car or the house or the vacation, but when you look back at a glance, it's like, wow, we like worked hard for these things, and that's why we get to enjoy them.
But only when you look back in old age.
No, I just meant like in a year in review.
Oh, your year in review.
So it seems like you're maybe leaning towards luck.
I mean, I don't want to just be like a bumbling idiot, but I do want to be lucky.
All right, well, thanks for going on that journey with me.
So I understand both sides. I'd say I do want to be like more aware, but also like if the option is just like you're lucky and you don't even know why, what's so bad about that?
If you're lucky and you know it, clap your hands. All right, cool.
Well, thank you for that icebreaker.
You're welcome.
An interesting story that they talked about on Good Morning America, actually. A new study finds that firstborn and only children are more likely to have anxiety and depression.
The proof is in the pudding. Here I am.
Does that surprise you or no?
Not at all. Does it surprise you?
I guess I hadn't really thought about it, but it says being the eldest sibling or being an only child can contribute to anxiety and depression in kids as young as 8. Researchers at Epic, a firm that manages a majority of electronic health records across the United States, studied more than 182,000 children in the U.S. who had a well child visit at age 8 and above, the age at which children should start being screened for anxiety by their pediatricians. Among the children studied, kids born first among their siblings were 48% more likely to be diagnosed with anxiety and 35% more likely to be diagnosed with depression compared with children born second or later. Only children were 42% more likely to have anxiety and 38% more likely to have depression.
Depression is a little surprising to me, but the anxiety is not. I think you see it like even like in movies where it's like the eldest child has so much responsibility. The parents are typically the hardest on the oldest because they're learning how to parent and they don't know what boundaries to have. So there's a lot of like strictness that then kind of wavers, maybe some unrealistic standards that like, oh, wow, that was a bit intense. We're going to loosen it up for 2 and 3.
That was a bit intense. Whoopsie.
You know, I think it's not by rule of thumb, but I do think a lot of specifically first children carry a lot of that. The flip side is I feel like a lot of only children carry a lot of that while also feeling like loved with like their parents' whole world, which is a lot of pressure.
So you think that's where the anxiety comes from?
I can only speak from my own experience, but yeah. Yeah, it's like you're the kid.
Yeah.
So like there's no one else to take the heat off. It's like I always imagined it'd be so nice to have a sibling who like could do something else stupid while I had done something stupid because it would be like, hey, look at them. But I was always like, just me then?
Yeah, you know, that never really helped me. I feel like my parents were really only looking at me to do stupid things, and my brother was, in their eyes, never doing anything stupid.
Well, of course, there's an exception to every rule.
I just think, for sure, depression, anxiety, and only children, I think, like, yeah, you're a solo bird in this world.
Yeah.
That sucks. And a lot of times people will say, like, I really only wanted one kid, but, like, I had another so that they had a sibling and also so that, like, they had
a person in this world.
Yeah, like someone else in this world after we're gone, you know, like a core family member. But as you know, with sibling relationships, that doesn't always even
work out. I mean, Tyler's constantly saying he's the backbone of his family as being the oldest of 4. So,
yeah, you guys are a couple of only child and oldest.
Yeah, and the anxiety is really only on my side.
Rampant.
I do have enough for the whole fam.
Yeah,
I definitely take a lot of anxiety hits.
Does it make you? I wonder if when you guys have kids, your husband will empathize more with the older one.
Oh, for sure. I mean, he's obsessed with our oldest dog, so.
It's like being a youngest. Like, I always empathize with youngest.
So you feel like you'll empathize with your youngest?
I do.
Interesting.
Like, when everyone's like, oh, blah, you know, about Jack. Like, he's the first whatever. It's like, must be nice.
I actually was thinking the other day about how like we're all obsessed with Jack. Like he's the only grandchild on both sides right now, and my mom's obsessed with him and we're obsessed with him. And currently like my mother-in-law also loves seeing him. So it's like
Just a lot of people who
it's
love
like
seeing him.
all eyes. And I wonder what he's gonna do like when you have another kid and when we start having kids, if he's gonna be like, what the fuck?
He does love other kids, but he's also not like a center of attention type personality.
No, it's just the nature of the environment.
But yeah, I think like oldest are great, and I think oldest empathize with other oldest. I'm just curious if other people like empathize with others in their birth order, because interestingly, my mom is a youngest.
Yeah,
She never empathized with me.
that is interesting.
She empathized with the oldest, and so did my dad.
Well, this has all been very interesting. Thank you for bringing this to us.
Just an interesting story about birth order.
I know birth order is really, really important. Like it does shape a lot of kids' personalities and like likes and dislikes. So
Yeah, and it's like not even talked about enough.
No, it is really interesting when you dive into it. Something to think about when you're having your children.
Mm-hmm.
The oldest needs some guidance. Don't make them feel so anxious all the time.
Yeah, like if you have more than one kid, looking inward, do you empathize more with
Which one?
the one that is born in the same order that you were?
Speaking of empathy, the Liam Payne stuff is like getting worse and worse and making me even more
How
upset.
could it be getting worse and worse? He died.
You're right, but like the info surrounding it. So first it was like, did he fall or did he jump? Everyone kind
Okay,
of...
why don't you give everyone just an overview?
Okay, thank you. Yeah. So Liam Payne, member of One Direction, was in Argentina last week.
And probably the lesser known member.
You know what's so interesting? Some people feel like he was like one of the top two in their favorites.
I could only name Harry and Zayn.
That's interesting.
And Niall.
Oh, I could have probably named...
Is Liam the only other one?
No, there's one more. Lewis.
There were 5?
Yeah, Lewis is the real...
Oh, okay. So Lewis and Liam are a no. I only could have named 3 if asked.
Well, sadly, we won't be able to ask you because here we are. But so he was in Argentina with his girlfriend, and at first it was just like she went back to the States. The story was reported pretty quickly after he died that he either jumped or fell out of his balcony. Devastating. Dead on the scene. Now it's like each day more depressing news comes out. Like immediately it was like he was being belligerent in the lobby, had to be escorted up, so people knew drugs were involved. He's had some issues with drugs and alcohol. Then a couple more days later, it came out that he'd been dropped by his label for his solo record. Okay, that's upsetting. Then it came out more recently that his visa application, because he wanted to just move back to Florida and live with his girlfriend there. But his visa application, when he was filling it out, at first I was like, why would you even tick this box? He ticked the box that said he'd struggled with drug and alcohol abuse. I guess because it's been like well documented and he went to rehab in the States, he kind of was required, like on those legal forms, it's like you're legally bound to be honest. So it got denied. So he was like working with the embassy to try and get his visa worked out, which is they're theorizing why he was in Argentina so much longer than anticipated, was he was trying to get his paperwork in order. And I just think like he was already not a very stable person, a ton of drugs, a lot of depression. Ugh, so sad.
Is anyone saying, not to speculate, but is anyone saying whether it seems like he fell or jumped?
No one has said, and I don't even know in this situation if you'll ever really know.
I thought that they can kind of figure that out.
Maybe like based on the like fall. I don't know if they're ever going to release that truthfully, but it's just so sad. He has a son.
Awful.
Who's 7, whose name is Bear. You have a dog named Bear.
He named his son Bear?
Yeah.
Wow. Feels like a dog name, but I love it.
He might feel like you named your dog a person name.
Yeah, it's very sad. I saw when it came out and I was like, oh, I don't know who that is.
You texted it to me and I was like, oh my God.
Because I knew you would.
Shocked.
It doesn't sound like he was the most well-liked man in the world.
He had, in addition to the things I discussed, some ongoing battles with an ex who was
The mother of his...
no, a different ex.
Okay.
His mother of his child has only said like really nice things about him. I don't know if there's ever really been anything in the press from her negative about him. And she released like a very sweet tribute. A woman named Maya Henry is working on a book based on their relationship and is like making some very not good claims. Like he was manipulative and suicidal and like telling her that he was going to kill himself if she didn't stay with him, and harassing her mom, and there was some like emotional abuse and
Allegedly.
all allegedly. So that also was swirling around in recent weeks, causing some stress on him.
What have the other 1D members said?
Like really nice tributes to him. And there was some definite falling out vibes, like when everyone broke up. And I know him and Zayn had some really bad blood at certain points, but all of them have made really sweet tributes. Zayn actually postponed his tour and was basically like, thank you for understanding, given the grief and what's going on. It doesn't feel right to tour. He was in Argentina and saw Niall at his solo show not long before. Liam. Like originally he went to see they're now saying he went to Argentina to work on his paperwork, and it just happened to work out that Niall was there. Again, no one's really privy to that. Who the fuck knows? I love when people start making that shit up. It's like, did he call you and say,
yeah, no.
Not going for the show, going for the paperwork, but gonna go to the show.
Right.
So, but the One Direction page on Instagram made a statement, which they hadn't said anything in a long time.
I saw Simon Cowell.
It seems like he was pretty beloved. Obviously, he had a dark side, but
Yeah.
I feel like that's everyone to a certain degree. Some people's dark side's a little bit darker.
And also just like the dark side of fame, you know?
I was saying the other day, like, truthfully, everything I've learned about fame has made me never want to be that famous.
No.
I'd be fine with a little mediocre fame, though, like, if you want to make this podcast pop off. But, like, everyone gets to a point where, like, and you brought up a good point. You're like, I think you're just so desensitized to fun that you're constantly seeking more.
Like when you're that rich and that like beloved by seemingly so many people, and you're just like a beacon of like beauty and like entertainment to people, then it's like there's nowhere to go up. Like part of like
life is the climb.
Yeah, part of
It's
life
the
is being like,
climb.
ooh, like being excited for like, and if I get this, then I'll get more money. And if I have more money, then I can do this with it. And like, it's like the looking forward to. And then once you reach all of that, like you're at the peak and there's nothing else that could like even be more fun than what you've already experienced. That seems like a pretty dark place to be.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. Having read Lisa Marie Presley's book, that's kind of what the whole thing was about. It's like Elvis was at the top of his game. He was so beloved. Drugs, abuse, more drugs, death. Lisa Marie grows up in this toxic environment, is always around celebrity. Same thing. Her son, who wasn't even famous, but like really did have access. I think the same sort of things were true. Like you have so much access to everything and just like unending people getting things for you. It's like you reach this point where you're like, what more is there? Liam Payne. It's just like, I mean, fame sounds great, but so does like sitting on my couch watching Netflix.
Totally.
That's really fun to me right now. I would hate to be at a point where that's not fun.
Agreed. Well, yeah, that's sad. I definitely feel for his family.
Yeah, thinking of them.
Something also sad, not as sad,
Okay.
but sad. Trump's appearance as a McDonald's employee.
Oh,
This election has just gotten like
outrageous.
it's
Embarrassing.
yes, it's like an episode of The Twilight Zone.
That's what I remember I saw this too. I think here that like it's so embarrassing. It's like family drama that you don't want people to see.
Yeah.
You're like, can our family just not fight in front of people? The whole world's watching and he's working at fucking McDonald's.
And
I'm
it's
like,
so
oh.
petty. He's like, Kamala didn't even work at McDonald's. I could work at McDonald's. He said like, I'll work the fry station, and like then shows up at McDonald's. Like,
No.
this is not important.
Leave McDonald's alone.
I am just feeling not so hopeful about the prospects.
it doesn't feel, and I've been saying this, doesn't feel like a slam dunk. I guess presidential elections never fully feel like a slam dunk, but
what's interesting is that, like, I know you don't really watch or listen to anything political.
not true. TikTok finds its way to give me that info.
It does?
Yes. I have a lot of political stuff on my For You page. Give me a shot.
It just seems like a lot of, like, the podcasts that I've been listening to have been, what I find interesting is people who work for media outlets interviewing, like, actual people. Mm-hmm. So, like, perhaps these people who are in the polls, the mysterious polls, you know, they're like, they go to a campaign office in Georgia and, like, interview the people, like, hey, what made you want to volunteer? Like, have you always voted this way, etc. And, like, or they go to a rally and they interview people there. So just, like, kind of hearing from the actual people is what's interesting to me. And it seems like the number one issue
is
the economy.
Oh, well, I mean, speaking of McDonald's.
On both sides, like, obviously, on one side, it's, like, guns and immigration. And on the more liberal side, it's women's rights.
It's like in the Venn diagram, that's the middle.
In the Venn diagram, the middle is the economy. And I'm concerned because I don't hear Kamala talking about the economy.
I don't disagree with you. I think what's tricky is I'm not a political strategist, but I feel like in some ways Kamala's trying to be everything to everyone. Like, she's trying to draw Gen Z in with Call Her Daddy, and she's trying to draw in the, like, outside Republicans with the Glock talk, and, like, I'm a gun owner, and it's like you can't be all things to everyone. And so I think her strategy is very thin. Like, it's like she's presenting herself in a lot of different ways. And so I do think the economy, from what's coming my way on TikTok, is not a big part of much of her speeches. It's a lot about how she was, like, when she was a prosecutor, she always stood up for the people who needed her, and she never asked about their color, their political affiliation. It's just a little...
And I'm sure that that's a political strategy. Like, same for on the Trump side. Yeah. You're hearing the same sound bites from, like, the millions of different interviews that they're both giving on either side. Right. I just think if you really want to, like, get people to cross over to the other side, the economy really does seem like everyone is affected by inflation.
Yep.
Rich people too. Like, they're like,
I'm less rich now.
Hey, why am I less rich?
You're taking away my rich.
And people are like, rent has gone up by so much. People can't even afford. I don't know if you saw, but someone posted their Walmart order.
No.
They had a Walmart order from, like, they had a reorder. It was like the same exact stuff from Walmart that they ordered in 2019, 2021, and now.
I'm so curious what these things are, but okay.
It's like the exact same stuff. It was like Clorox wipes.
Got it. Okay.
Paper towels. Like, they did, like, a reorder of household.
Side by side. Okay.
From the 3 years.
Yeah.
And the price has gone up. Like, it's literally quadrupled.
No, it's actually crazy.
Like, their order from 2019 was like $28, and then it was like $80 something.
Yeah, no, it's actually crazy.
For just household supplies.
I'm shocked every time I, like, quote, go to the grocery store for a few things. Like, I can't get away from the grocery store for less than $75.
No.
I don't even know what I'm getting. It's like, I need 6 things and it's $75. Like, what?
Yeah.
It's so bizarre.
Like, it's like you get, like, frozen chicken nuggets and bread.
Yep.
And toothpaste. You're at $50.
It's crazy. It's really crazy.
So it is something that's affecting everybody, even people who aren't quote unquote political. And I just
still gotta buy groceries.
Yeah, like, everyone has to buy groceries. Everyone has a car payment or rent payment. They have to pay for housing somehow. And I think, like, it's being hammered home on the Trump side of, like, this is Biden's economy. This is Bidenomics. Like, we're all suffering the effects of it. And Kamala is just kind of like, that's a bunch of baloney. We inherited this economy. But, like, how are we going to make things cheaper?
I did see a soundbite recently of Obama talking about how Trump's economy was his economy. You know, like that's what he inherited.
Right.
And then Biden's economy. So I wish she was harping a little bit on like, it doesn't bounce that quickly. Like it's not a bouncy ball. So like you are still retroactively. Now I think on year 4 of his presidency, it's got to be a little Biden. Like
right.
1, 2.5, 3.
And I get that she's his VP. And so it's such a fine line of like, you can't
roast him.
Yeah, you can't be like, hey, listen, that
this guy
sucks. But I think you could say like,
although I do think she could. I mean, she replaced him in the race. Like baseline, she agrees he wasn't as good of a candidate as her. So it wouldn't be crazy for her to have a few criticisms.
I don't know if I mean, she probably does baseline, but no, because he's just not running again.
But I'm saying because he could tell he wasn't going to win. Like they clearly switched candidates because she had a better chance.
Yeah, I just think she could say more of like, the economy is a huge problem.
We're on it. We know. We are there.
We've done stuff that we thought would work. And in Biden's plan, there's a lot that worked and there's a lot that didn't work.
And we're going to rework.
We're going to rework.
Yeah, I don't know. I am going to be nervous till the election's over.
But like, I don't want to see Trump working at McDonald's. I don't want to see
Trump working at the White House.
No.
I don't want to see Trump working anywhere.
I don't want to see Kamala working at McDonald's. I don't want to see any of that like weird fluff shit. I want like actual information.
I want information.
It's a dilemma. Ooh, and I have a dilemma for you.
Good. Nice. What is it?
Let me read it to you. Okay. Another amazing post from the group that keeps on giving.
We love.
Hi, all. I got married in February and my husband and I are trying to have a baby. I suspect he might have ED. I found blue pills in his toiletry bag early on when we were first dating. I was grabbing some Tums when we were on our first weekend vacation away together, and I saw blue chew packets. He doesn't know that I know. So first of all, I just have to say, yeah, like you found this when you were dating, now they're married. He doesn't know that I know. I'm concerned because we're older, 36 and 38, so time is of the essence. We've both talked about it a lot, that we wanted to start trying right away after getting married, etc. All I've ever wanted is to be a mom. We need to be having sex more frequently to increase our chances of getting pregnant, obviously. But our average when we're trying is really just once a week. So like once, I think that would just be trying one, because you can only get pregnant like a week.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so you're trying once in the window.
And it's usually on the weekends. I don't feel like I can talk to friends about this because I don't want to embarrass him or share the issue. But how do I approach this with him? I'm concerned that there may be an underlying health issue causing this, ED, low testosterone, etc. And I'd like him to see a doctor. Have any of you experienced this with your husband? I desperately want to have a baby, but I feel like this has become a huge barrier to it.
I know you hate when I say this.
I love hearing that things start that way.
But I'm just saying, like, I always think it's weird. Obviously, in marriages and in relationships of any kind, you have like small little secrets. I'm always weirded out though when like major things are happening with people and they're like, my husband doesn't know, my wife doesn't know. It's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you guys are married. It's weird that when you were dating, you didn't bring it up. Obviously, you can't be like, hey, snooping through your medicine pouch, but like, weird. He never brought it up.
I don't think you have to say snooping through your medicine pouch. I think you could be like, I was getting Tums out of your bag, which is where you told me they were, and I almost took an ED pill instead of a Tum because it was in a chew packet. What are these?
Right. Like,
But now it's like gone on for too long.
I just think it is so strange. Like, I remember one time I was like, Tyler and I tell each other everything, and you're like, oh, fucking ass. Like, you two losers. But I do think that's like a baseline. Like, your medical conditions should be shared with your partner. And ED is a medical condition. That's weird. The follow-up weirdness is now you have something to talk about with your spouse about like your family planning and your sex life, and you don't feel comfortable talking to them about it. Like, I think you should maybe pump the brakes on kids. I don't know if you guys are communicating well enough to be parents.
I was going to say, I feel like it's more concerning that they seem to really only try once a week.
Tyler's like, they should be having more sex.
Yeah, I don't think it's really a sex problem or maybe like an ED problem, but he just might not be that into her.
Ooh, zinger.
I mean,
coming with the zingers. From the male perspective, sounds like he's just not that into you.
It's not the right math approach.
Yeah, like when you're trying to be like intentional and purposeful about it, and it's like, okay, so if you can only get pregnant days, 10 through 15, and you're only having sex on day 11,
we're not sure if we're hitting the target here.
It's not as likely as if you're having sex on days 10 through
11,
15.
yeah, 12, 13, 14, 15.
Or maybe you're not supposed to try every day. I don't know, but
I think it can't hurt. And ovulation is such a finicky thing, especially when you haven't gotten pregnant before. And like,
also when she said like specifically only on weekends, like, why does it have to be a weekend?
yeah, it feels a little like routine. Oh, I feel bad for her though. She sounds lovely. She needs to be able to talk to her husband. That's what the root of this is. Like, even if I'm not sure if it's that he's like not into her, it totally could be like a testosterone thing or an ED thing that he's like stressed about. And then like the more stressed about it he is, it like gets worse and all those things. But these spirals could be fixed by having an honest conversation with their spouse. That is the root issue for me.
I think what's hard is like, what if he really does just have a lower
Testosterone.
lower sex drive?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It's like you can't make someone.
There's laws against that.
And she says in her thing, she commented to someone who said something like, has this always been a problem? And she was like, it hasn't been a problem because we weren't trying. Like they just like didn't have
a lot of sex
before, and now like the spotlight is on it. But it's like, if he like, what are you supposed to do? It's kind of tough because if he's like, I can't have sex that much.
But you know what would fix this?
What?
Conversation about it.
But I'm saying if they did.
And if he said that, then she could be like, okay, well, while we're trying, like, is there something
we have to have sex more?
Yeah, like, is there something?
Okay, well, while we're trying, that doesn't matter.
No, but like, is there something that we can do? Like, it's just strange to not have a conversation.
Yeah, I guess more just like, what are you supposed to do? She's feeling the pressure of it more now because it's just kind of like, okay, yeah, like we're trying to get pregnant. Is it just kind of like buck up, camper? We have to have sex more. Like I feel like if he was saying that to her, it would be like, okay, rapist.
Okay, well that's extreme. I don't think it would be okay, rapist.
No, I'm saying if a guy is saying to his wife,
well, it's a double standard, 100%. That's what I'm saying. I don't think it's a buck up camper. I think it's a conversation. Like we are all speculating, as is this lovely young woman, because she's never talked to her husband. So like the solution is, this is how I'm feeling. Is this the reality?
Side note, is a little blue pill like the universal ED drug? How was anyone supposed to know that? Did you?
Yes, I did. But like, is it even an ED drug?
Oh, you did?
Like, did it say,
that.
What is the main erectile dysfunction drug?
Viagra.
Viagra. Thank you. Is like, was it Viagra? Like she saw this pill 7 years ago. Who knows?
Yeah. I mean, what if it's for herpes? What if it's a little blue herpes pill?
Right. It's so odd. No one is talking about anything. And these two people got married and are just like living in the same home, not discussing anything of any significance.
I see if they were to have a conversation about it and he's like, hey, this is as much as I can muster up here. And it hasn't been a problem until now.
I doubt he would say that.
Really?
Because if she's like, if he knows anything about fertility, which apparently neither of them do, which is a bigger question mark, they have to, if ultimately they both really want to start a family, and if they're on the same page about that, something's going to have to change here.
Yeah.
Maybe she just goes to a fertility doctor with him and lets him have the conversation.
Meaning,
is there any ED here? Anything we should know? And she's like staring at him like, yeah, is there?
Is there? She tells the doctor in advance.
She's like, okay, here's a few things you can ask him. Slips the paper.
I do think she's dug herself in a hole by knowing for this long and not asking about it when she first saw it.
I don't understand that. Like, if I have a question for Tyler, literally as benign as like, can we have tacos for dinner? I'm like, hi, can we have tacos? Like, I could not imagine seeing something in his travel case and then years later being like, I still wonder what that was.
I do think that in a marriage specifically, there are no weird
questions. Agreed.
Like, we are one.
We took vows. You were there. Like,
and so like, if you have a question that like might be considered weird, that doesn't matter with your partner.
It shouldn't. And that's what I'm more concerned about for these two. Truthfully, like, I'm less concerned about the two of these people getting pregnant and more concerned about the way that they communicate about things. Like,
yeah,
they get pregnant. Like, how is she supposed to like have conversations about their future and like health stuff if like,
well, it hasn't stopped him till now.
I know
married.
it's odd. It's odd.
Oh, you're like, how could these two even be married?
Well, I'm just like, what's going to happen when like there's tough conversations to be had about like parenting and health issues and like money.
A lot of people were saying like that's something that he should disclose to you. Like they're saying he's on this medication and like if every time you guys are like gonna be intimate, he's popping a blue pill and not mentioning it. Like if you'd never found that, you'd be sitting there in the dark right now.
I think anything weird, I mean, not anything weird, anything medical with your spouse, if you are in the dark about it, that's weird.
Right, but like, so she's in the wrong for finding it and not saying something, but he also is like...
Oh, he's in the wrong too. Two wrong friends.
Right.
Wrongos.
Two wrongos. Wrongos. Like, what if Tyler found your little blue pill and was like, do you have erectile dysfunction? And you were like, just depression. That's my Zoloft.
This actually came up. I'm so glad you're saying this. We were at a wedding one time. This was so strange. Do you remember this story? We were at a wedding one time. We didn't really know anyone except the people getting married. And so we were talking to this couple that Tyler kind of knew. We're sitting there, whatever. He had worked with the girlfriend. So Tyler's talking to the girlfriend. I am meeting her boyfriend for the first time. We're just chatting. He was like very nice, but like telling me all this stuff about how like he had just recently started going to therapy and he'd gotten on Zoloft. And I was like, oh my God, I love Zoloft. Like big fan on Zoloft. Amazing.
You know who doesn't love Zoloft? My anxiety.
No, vanquishes it. And he's like, so like, do you feel comfortable like sharing that with people? And I was like, obviously, I mean, I just told you, a perfect stranger. And he's like, oh, like I still haven't told her, and like motioned in the way of his girlfriend, which by the way, she's 2 feet away. So I'm like now an accessory to this weird crime. And he was like, does Tyler know? And I was like, yes. And he was like, wow, really? And then I said, this is actually, I know this is cringe, but I go, yeah, we tell each other everything. And he literally like rolled his eyes at me and he's like, oh, okay.
But why did you say that in that moment?
It slipped out. Like I was so shook.
Are you trying to get someone to open up to you?
I wasn't. Honestly, I was just a guest at a wedding.
Yeah, we tell each other everything. Most unrelatable thing anyone can hear.
I mean, I truly was not. I wasn't trying to get this man to open up to me, which was why it was even weirder. He told me and still hadn't told his girlfriend. I digress. But I was like, yes. Huh? And he was like, yeah, I'm not sure if I'm going to tell her.
Ever?
I didn't delve in. I was like, all right. I like the song. I gotta go. Like,
well, anywho's, good luck. We'll do a Zoloft cheers later.
Yeah, gotta go.
What time do you take yours?
I was like, I take mine in the morning, so we're good to go. But yeah, it was wild.
I think for sure something like that. It's also obviously like, I think it's probably things that have like a shame stigma around them, such as
Zoloft
or Viagra. Like, I don't think people are hiding their
allergies,
allergy medication, or
they're like,
diabetes medication. They're like,
Zyrtec.
I didn't want to share this with you. It's like,
okay,
there's a stigma around it, obviously, but I do also think it's kind of on him. Like, you've been on this medication that does also affect your partner. That's the other thing. Like, I mean, sort of also with mental health that affects your partner also. Like, I'm on this medication, but specifically ED medication.
I just think about it like, if you don't feel like, it's not a reflection, like if you don't feel like you can tell your partner, that's totally fine. I'm not saying it's a reflection of them. Maybe it's more of a reflection of you, but it is a reflection of the state of your relationship. No matter who is the one causing it to happen, if you don't feel like that's a safe enough space to be honest, it doesn't mean the relationship needs to end. It just means like some work needs to be done, because that's probably a very lonely place to feel like this person who's supposed to be your other half and like your partner in life isn't a comfortable space to tell them this. I feel bad that he feels that way, and like feel bad that she feels like she can't ask him. She's probably brimming with a million questions. Oh my God.
Yeah, there's probably so much left unsaid.
She's like, I have so many questions.
I just feel like generally speaking, you have to also just be that type of person. Like with me personally, not much is left unsaid.
That is so true.
And you used to not be this way though.
Yeah, you broke me.
You used to be like,
I left a lot unsaid.
You left a lot unsaid. And I was like, what are you leaving unsaid?
And I was like, everything.
And now you've come to the sad side.
I do like saying everything.
Yeah.
The other night, Tyler said something that really annoyed me. And when we got home, he was like, I'm sorry, but like, it was like I taught him too much. He was like, but you've always said it's so healthy to just like say how you're feeling and like be honest with our family. And so like, I'm just trying to be like my authentic, honest self. And I was like, okay, well, you've taken it a little far. All right.
Not if your authentic, honest self is not in alignment with what I want.
Exactly. I was like, you misunderstood. No, I was laughing. I was
Back to the drawing board.
Yeah, I was like, okay, you're right. But no.
Well, I think we've both left nothing unsaid today
Nada.
on this specific call.
Well, thanks for calling.
I'll call you later.
Love you.
Love you.
Bye.